The New Little Milkman. There was once a little boy whose father had 6 cows. He sold the milk that the cows gave him and made quite a lot of money. He had a small black pony and a neat milk cart that took the milk around to all his customers. Now Freddie, the little boy, often used to go around with his father in the pony. It was fun to give out the milk to old Mrs. Lacey and young Mrs. Thomas and Mr. Timms and all the rest. Freddie knew all the customers and said good morning to them just in the same cheerful voice as his father's. Somebody else often used to go in the milk cart too, and that somebody was Tommy, the big puppy dog. He belonged to Freddie, and he was such a big clumsy thing, so loving and happy. Freddie loved him very much indeed. Freddie made himself a little milk cart from a big wooden box. His father put some wheels on it and a shelf all the way round for milk bottles. The bottles were only toy bricks, of course, because his father wouldn't give him the real bottles. Freddie had to be the horse and the milkman too. I'm the galloping horse, he told Tommy, and he stamped his foot on the ground. I'm taking milk round. Here we go, clip, clop, clip, clop. Now here I am at old Mrs. Lacey's. Now I'm the milkman. Good morning, Mrs. Lacey. A pint of milk today. Here it is. Thank you. What a fine morning it is. Then he took hold of the handles of his wooden cart, and he was the pony again. Tommy watched him and thought Freddie was wonderful. Then one morning a great idea came into Tommy's head. Why shouldn't he be the horse? Couldn't he pull the cart for Freddie? Of course, and then Freddie could be the milkman and stay at the back of the cart instead of sometimes being the horse and sometimes the milkman. So the next time that Freddie played at being the milkman, Tommy ran to the cart and put himself between the 2 long handles. Freddie gave a shout when he saw him. Tommy, you're the cleverest dog in the world. You really are. I can see you want to be the horse. All right, you shall be. I'll get a rope for reins and tie you in properly. So before long, Tommy was harnessed to the wooden milk cart, and the 2 of them went round the garden together, stopping whenever Freddie said he had come to somebody who wanted milk. Mr. Timms, how much milk today? Good morning to you. Mrs. Jenks, I'm sorry I've no cream at all. I'll have some eggs tomorrow. It was a good game to play. Tommy and Freddie never got tired of it. Sometimes they both went in the real milk cart, and then the 2 of them watched and remembered every single customer so they might play the game properly. One day, something horrid happened. Freddie's father went out with his pony and milk cart on a very frosty day. The roads were slippery, and as they went up High Hill, the little black pony slipped and fell. The milkman ran to help her up, and she kicked out as she tried to rise. Quite by accident, she kicked Freddie's father on the leg. Poor man, he fell down then, and a passer-by had to come and pick him up. His leg was badly hurt, and the poor little pony had a hurt leg too. Well, this is an upset, said Freddie's mother, when the milkman was carried home, and the little black pony was back in her shed, having limped all the way home with the milk cart. What a good thing you delivered all of your milk. Maybe we shall both be better tomorrow, said the milkman, lying back in bed. You could milk the cows for me, couldn't you, my dear? Freddie can help. He's a good little lad. Would you see to the pony for me, and get the vet to him too, if he needs it? Well, the vet said the pony was not to walk for a week, or he would be lame for the rest of his life. And the milkman's doctor said that he too must lie in bed for a week or more, or his leg would not get better either. And now what were we to do? Said Freddie's mother to Freddie. I could take the milk round myself in the cart, if only the pony was all right, but I can't possibly carry all that milk myself. Besides, I don't know the customers. Freddie stared at his mother, and his heart began to beat fast. He'd thought of a perfectly wonderful idea. Mother, you and I will milk the cows and bottle the milk, said the little boy, and then I'll take the milk round in my little wooden milk cart. Oh, Freddie dear, don't be silly, said his mother. You can't drag all that milk round by yourself. I'm not going to, said Freddie. Tommy can do that. You've seen him playing at being my pony, haven't you, Mother? Well, I never. What ideas you do get, said his mother. And do you really suppose you could get all the milk bottles into that little cart of yours, Freddie? No, I couldn't, said Freddie, but I could keep coming back for more. But you don't know all the houses where Daddy takes his milk, said his mother. Yes, I do, said Freddie. I've often been with Daddy, and I know everybody. Really I do, Mother. Do let me try. Well, I really don't see how we're going to get the milk around, said his mother. I'll let you try, Freddie. Just take a few of the most important people their milk. There's Mrs. Thomas with her 5 children. She really must have her milk. And there's old Mr. Harris. He's ill and he has to have lots of milk too. You must take his as well. Well, you can't imagine how excited Freddie felt. He ran to tell Tommy. Tommy, just fancy, our game of pretend is going to be real, cried Freddie. What do you think of that? Tommy wagged his big tail and jumped around in glee. He was always pleased when Freddie was happy. The cows were milked the next morning. The milk was put into clean bottles, big bottles and little bottles. Then Freddie ran to get his cart. He carefully put the bottles into it. He could only get 15 in, but that didn't matter. He could easily come back for more. Then he harnessed Tommy to the wooden milk cart. Tommy was pleased to be a real pony this time, with real heavy milk bottles to pull along instead of wooden bricks. Goodbye, Mother, we're going, shouted Freddie, and off they went. Tommy clattered out of the farmyard with the wooden cart behind him, and Freddie ran behind the cart, clicking to Tommy as if he were a real horse. They stopped at Mrs. Lacey's. She opened the door, very surprised. Why, I thought there'd be no milk this morning, she said. I heard about the accident. Dear me, what a marvellous boy you are, to be sure. You've got a milk cart and dog pony of your own. I'll have 1 pint of milk, please. Here's the money, and tell your mother from me that she's got a fine, helpful little boy. Freddie grinned happily. He put the money into a bag. Then he set off for the next customer, Mrs. Thomas. She was waiting for him anxiously. Oh, Freddie, I was so afraid I'd get no milk for my children this morning, she said. What a good boy you are, and I do like your horse and cart. I must find a biscuit for the horse. She gave Tommy a biscuit, and he munched it up at once, wagging his tail so hard that he almost knocked a bottle over in the cart. Freddie was given a chocolate and the money for the milk. He went on to the other customers. He knew them all, and didn't miss a single one out. He had to go back home 3 times to fill up his cart again with bottles of milk, but he sold it all and took his mother the money. She counted it out. Exactly right, she said. Well, I never knew before what a sensible, clever little boy you are, Freddie. And as for Tommy, he's an absolute treasure. I'll give him a bone at once. So Tommy had an extra large bone to eat, and Freddie had a big piece of ginger cake and 2 peppermints. He went to see his father and told him all about the morning. Thank you, Freddie. You are a help, said his father. I was afraid I should lose all my customers this week, but I see I shan't. You and Tommy are fine helpers. Well, Freddie and Tommy worked very hard all that week until the milkman and the little black pony were both better. Then, the next Tuesday, the pony was put into the real milk cart again, and the milkman himself drove off with all his bottles of creamy milk. I'm quite sad that I'm not the milkman and his horse any more, Freddie told his mother. She smiled at him. Well, you can be my errand boy now, she said. I want to buy a few presents for a kind little boy I know. Will you go and choose them? Take your cart with you and ask Tommy to pull them all home for you. I want you to buy a packet of chocolate, a bottle of sweets, a new kite and a storybook. Here's the money. Who are the presents for? Asked Freddie, astonished. Is somebody having a birthday? No, said his mother. The presents are for you, of course. Daddy and I are very grateful to you for your help, you see, and we want to give you a reward. Oh, I've forgotten something. Buy a new ball for Tommy too. Now off you go. So off went the 2 of them as happy as could be. And what a time Freddie had choosing all the things and bringing them home in his cart. But he really did deserve them, didn't he?